Hello and welcome back to Calradia at War, and we're taking a look at the diplomacy screen at the moment, mainly because I actually am going to take someone's advice from the comments, and thank you very much for giving me this, well, shall we say, a gentle prod, or shall we say, just a reminder. Botania has a very high war exhaustion at the moment, and if we allow the war exhaustion to come to fruition, in other words, if we are going to allow it to get to 100, that is obviously not very good. We don't want that to happen because then we're not going to be receiving a very good tribute at all. And as you can see down here, the tribute that we're currently going to get is almost 2,000 per day. And I personally think, hey, that is pretty amazing. So I'm thinking, hey, you know what? Let's do it. Let's propose this. We have 100% support anyway. We've just taken Sionon from them as well. So bear that in mind. And let's do it. All right. I'm going to spend 150 even... Should I even bother spending 150? I don't know whether I'm actually going to get any relation for doing this. No, I'm not going to get any relation, so it was good that I only spent 60, even though I do have an overwhelming amount of influence at the moment, so it is not really that important. But anyway, now we can focus more adequately on dealing with Sturgia and the Western Empire. Now, of course, the Western Empire is probably going to be the people that we'll focus on because Sturgia is a little bit too far away, and that brings me to the next point. I'm going to see what I can do to give away some of these castles. For example, I'm going to give away this castle. Yes, I'm going to give that away, and I'm going to... I don't know who... I really don't know who to give it to. This guy, I guess. I don't really mind, as long as I can get some relation with one of these factions or one of these clans. That's all I really need to do. Otherwise, Swenrin Castle. I think Swenrin Castle is okay to keep at the moment. I think we're doing okay with it, but bear in mind its prosperity is pretty low as it is. As you can see, it's only 632 in comparison to many of the other castles in the realm that have upwards of 800, 900, maybe even over 1,000 some of them. So there's obviously that to consider as well. But if our wages start to look a little bit too dire, I will be giving away other fiefs apart from, you know, just the one that we've just given away. So otherwise, I'm going to take a quick look at Old Man Byron's friends, because obviously that's what we're going to need to do right now. And I would like to see if we can potentially ask one of them to join us. So I'm thinking, oh, I should have sent a message to this guy beforehand, before we actually made peace. Oh well, never mind. That's a bit of a mistake on my part, but I don't think that he would have joined anyway. He's probably going to be in, you know, some army or another or something like that. I'm going to send off a messenger to Olek. I'm hopeful, and I'm very, very hopeful here that he is not going to be in an army. Aura is obviously here. I would like very much to see if we can marry her. I'm glad to have the chance to spend some time together, we're going to say. We have 3 chances right here. I do have 2 100% chances. I assume the last selection I'm going to have is probably going to be low percentage. No, okay, never mind. I was taking a bit of a pessimistic view there, but no, we are lucky enough to achieve a successful result with our conversation with her, which I'm very, very pleased about. And otherwise, we can now move on away from Sionon, and we don't have to worry so much about the Botanians, you know, appearing out of nowhere and wanting to murder us from every single direction. So, apart from that, I have 140 units. I'm actually not sure whether I should head down to Valuka, for example, and maybe just recruit a couple of people along the way. I mean, I think I should probably swing by Cantrek Castle anyway, because that was under siege by a wide variety of different enemies, and maybe it would be a good idea for me to show my face, maybe, you know, defend it, help defend it, or something like that. And let's have a look here. Oh, no, never mind. He's happy with his current liege. I wonder whether they've changed the ability to persuade people. I mean, obviously not as a total total result. I mean, obviously, persuading people is still possible, but what I'm asking is it still possible for us to do that early on in the game? I don't think it is, because they seem to have some very good relations with their current rulers and lieges and so on and so forth. However, I think what we are going to do, I'm going to attack this guy, just purely for the fact that I can, and because we do have a couple of units that would need to level up, and I'd like to kind of get stuck in a little bit too. I actually do miss fighting quite a bit when there's a lot of kingdom management to be done, even though there are those times where we go into battle after battle after battle, and I personally would like a break then, but then there's no break in sight. Usually that's how it goes sometimes, unfortunately. So anyway, we're going to get my infantry and my archers over here, and I'm sure you can hear my keyboard as well, by the way. This is that replacement keyboard that I've had to use ever since my other one broke, but it's a bit loud, so I do apologize for that. It is a bit clicky, you know, and the F keys specifically, or should we say the number keys specifically, as well as the F keys, are very prominent, shall we say, so they're going to be, you know, maybe you can hear them, maybe you can't, I don't really know, but if you can, then I apologize. If it bothers you, that is. Otherwise, let's take a quick look here. Oh, they are 300 meters away, or 300 yards, or whatever it is. So we're going to have to make our way over here real quick. It is nighttime, so maybe I don't even need to worry. I mean, to be fair, yeah, that is actually true. Someone mentioned. I'm taking a look at my war razor here, and someone said that it basically looks like the smithy literally put a butcher's knife on the end of a pole, and that is true. It does look like that, actually. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's for, you know, that's what it's for. It's for rending the flesh of our enemies and, well, hopefully, well, being able to take out more than one or two of them in the process. Anyway, wow, seems like the enemy is still super far away. Are they actually retreating without me even getting close to them? Doesn't seem like that. Okay, let's tell my cavalry to do their own thing, and we're going to try and take out a couple of the enemy cavalry. Oh, that was a nice hit, if I do say so myself. Once we get to 275 polearms, we are going to very much enjoy using polearms. They are going to do so much damage, and they're going to be very easy to use as well from then on, because you're going to have that additional damage, that additional speed bonus, and generally ease of use as well. Now I have to be continuously careful here as well, because these guys mostly have pikes and polearms that thrust, and they are going to do a lot of damage if we run straight into them, so I have to run at them at a bit of a weird angle, and sometimes that angle can cause some relatively difficult issues, but that's the kind of attack we really want to see right there. Yes, these kinds of attacks, where we can get a weird angle, where they're not particularly blocking as intended, and they kind of leave themselves somewhat open, and now, oh yeah, they're getting murdered by the sharpshooters. That's what we want to see. And this is also the reason why I have a shield, by the way. I think that, in general, even if I did have just a polearm as my only weapon, I might still have a shield on my back, literally because it causes so much defensiveness for your character. It basically makes it so easy to defend against shots from behind. And generally that's, I mean, maybe that's not even a big deal. I don't know. Maybe it's not such a big deal, but I think generally it is definitely helping me to survive a little bit more. And you could see there that I got shot, and you can see that there are 2 arrows in the shield, and it's really not taken that much of my HP off at all. It's taken about, what, 25 or so? Really not that big a deal whatsoever. Anyway, we have reached 275 in polearms, and I'm just going to speed things up real quick. Okay, no, never mind. Don't need to do that, because they have now started to retreat. Very nice indeed. Alright, so we are... I'm not entirely sure what to do with this guy, to be honest, because on the one hand, he's kind of... I don't know, he's part of a minor faction, and I don't really care too much about them one way or another, because they will basically join whoever pays them, I suppose, but I guess we'll just let them go. It's not really... I can make money in other ways, I suppose, so I guess that's a good a time as any to do that. And oh my, hello there. Oh yes, this is the kind of thing I want to get. Thank you very much. Look at that. That is an absolutely fantastic horse harness. Bear in mind, this is literally the rusty version of the horse armor, and it is not the pristine version. If it was the pristine version or something, you know, then it would be even better than that is right now. That is pretty crazy. All right, anything else here? I'm actually thinking of replacing my sword. Yes, I am thinking of replacing my sword, mostly because this sword, while it does do good damage, its swing speed is way too slow to use in close quarters combat. You've seen that multiple times now, where I've been in a battle and I'm fighting 2 against 1, 3 against 1, or maybe even more than that, and my sword is just not good enough to give me that additional swing speed that I need to beat the opponent's swing speed, and it then results in me taking much more damage than I would otherwise have to. Anyway, let's go over to Cantrek Castle. I'm just going to pass by there very quickly just to make sure that nothing's going on. Doesn't seem like anything's going on. I should also be a little bit careful about Sionon being potentially attacked too. Alright, let's ransom those prisoners. I don't really need to do anything here apart from sell some stuff. Bear in mind that I am obviously trying to make as much money as possible for the inevitable time when we unlock everything has a price. And bear in mind that everything has a price, of course, is going to be not that useful initially, but later down the line when vassals become more desperate and they become more likely to make deals with you, at that point, that is when things are going to get really, really important. Okay, so I'm actually going to get this guy, not because of anything other than making another caravan. That's actually all I want to do. I just want to make another caravan, and that is what we're going to do right there. Oh yes, so I'm going to look out for some additional companions now, because I think now that we have Drissabalda, I think it's about time that we add another companion to our ranks, and I'm going to be on the lookout for one. So I'm going to go to Valuka, because obviously if you hadn't already... never mind. Apparently I am not going to be doing that, because apparently I'm going to be heading back to Sionon instead. But yes, my main objective, shall we say, was to actually swing around, so go through here and then go all the way to Thraktarai Castle, because that is the nearest Western Empire fief. Hello there. You only have 327. I should be able to call for an army that should be able to deal with them without too many difficulties. Let's just try and get these people. We have 792 strength with all of these. Oh, they went in? Why did you go in there, Valeric? Why did you go in there, you absolute imbecile? I don't know why he did that. Okay. We have 863, but I have to wait. Vartar's army is over there. I'm not entirely sure why he's there. They haven't even started besieging it yet, which is actually good. And I just need to wait a little bit longer. Ooh. Oh dear. Okay. Could you just come over here, sir? Thank you very much. This is a little worrying, I've got to say. Okay, there we are. There's our reinforcements. Okay, fantastic. That is all we needed. So now we should be able to go in here and survive, but let me just take a quick look at my perks real fast. Okay, so there we go. We have another attribute point to spend, because obviously, as I told you in the previous episode, I did install a mod that gives me an attribute point every single level, because I obviously haven't been playing with anything like that. And yeah, because Chaos's Tweaks, I know someone said that Chaos's Tweaks is working on this version, but I haven't been able to get it to work, as well as a lot of people on the download page. They're also having difficulties getting it to work. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I don't know, maybe you're just really, really good at installing it, or you know, maybe you need to do a fresh install or something like that, and maybe I haven't done that. Anyway, I think I'm gonna have to spec into social here. Am I gonna have to spec into social? I might have to spec into social to be able to get trade to a good level. So let me just try and do that. As you can see, it's just about making it there. And we are finally going to be getting Way of the Spear as well. So each skill point above 250 grants you 0.2% speed increase with polearms, as well as 0.5% damage increase. That is super, super useful. Alright, what else are we going to go for? Well, I actually saw a comment recently that said, what's up with tactics? Why is tactics not being taken by anyone? Because you've seen a number of other people's series, you've seen my series, and I'm never usually taking tactics. Well, tactics usually is to do with simulations, and that's pretty much it. There are cases of perks that are really, really good in the tactics tree, but usually leveling up tactics is not particularly worth it. For example, let me see if I can actually find something here that could be useful. Yeah, I mean, most of it is to do with auto-resolve, you see. That's the main thing. Most of it is to do with auto-resolve. And I'm thinking, did they remove that? Or is that part of scouting? It might be part of scouting, but for example, this. Decreases the duration of the disorganized state after breaking sieges and raids by 15%. That's pretty good for having to run away if you are not wanting to attack a particular army who is coming close to you, and you want to try and prevent yourself from suffering a defeat. Also, escaping from battles by leaving 50% less soldiers behind, I think that's a really good perk as well. I think that's a really nice one, because let's say that you're going to leave 50 soldiers behind, you're only going to leave 25 with this. And I think that can basically tell the difference between if you have a relatively low tier army, or a low steward skill, or a low party size, or your clan tier is low, then having 50 soldiers be lost out of your 75 or out of your 100, that's a big deal, that's a big deal. But if you are escaping with only taking 25 losses, then that's really not that bad. So that's the main reason. Anyway, I'm thinking we're probably going to go for medicine here, because medicine is leveling up almost all the time for me, and I would like to be able to increase that a little bit more. I am going to be speccing into intelligence, don't worry about that. I really do need to spec into it, but now that social is at 6, I don't think I really need to worry about it any further. So I'm actually just going to be going over here real fast, because I want to see if anyone else is nearby. 18 hours, a bit too far away for my liking, so we are just going to go straight on in there. Ooh, this is a bit, okay, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to be able to do this. Look at the combat strength, it's very, very close. We might not be able to. It might be one of those times where we have way too many difficulties. Oh, wait a minute, they're within firing range? Really? I'm surprised that they're within firing range. Okay, that's kind of intriguing. Ah, yes, there they are. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm thinking we'll probably go onto this little hill here. That's probably going to make a good deal of sense. So let's go over here. Gonna tell my people to go here, and then we're gonna tell them to face this direction. There we go. And then they're gonna be facing towards the opponent, so they don't get shot in the face, or in the back, shall we say, in this case. And we're gonna put our archers here too. Gonna have to make sure that my archers face in this direction as well. Okay, apparently they're not doing that for some reason. There we go. And let's put them into a loose formation as well. Generally, loose formation is always what I prefer with archers. There we are. Okay, so we actually have a much larger contingent of cavalry this time around. So I'm partially wondering whether I should literally just take them myself and, well, command them in some kind of, shall we say, flanking maneuver. I think that might be quite effective, so I'm thinking maybe we should try to do that. I'm going to go from the flat area of the battlefield. I don't really want to approach from the left side. I would much prefer to approach from the right, because you can see here that the enemy's cavalry is also on the right. I'm sure that there's another contingent on the left too, but I'm just wanting to kind of eliminate some of the cavalry while we have the opportunity to do so. Oh, that was a nice hit. That was a really, really nice hit right there. And obviously they're going to be a bit hard-pressed, you know? They're going to be hard-pressed to react to our cavalry, because if I display my cavalry's strength in such a way like this, then they're going to literally think to themselves, oh wow, I'm going to need to do something against this, you know? I'm going to need to change my formation, I'm going to need to face towards the cavalry to make sure that I don't get murdered by them, and so on. And while they are doing this, my archers are having a whale of a time just completely bombarding them from range, and even if they don't get too many kills, I don't really need to, you know? We don't really need to get too many kills, we just need to weaken them significantly enough so that when we do eventually go for the charge, it is not going to be too much of a big deal. Alright, so it's about time that I put these guys into an auto-delegate and just run into the tree. Oh yes, that's what I do. Yes, indeed. Now, we do have to bear in mind that this is a much larger battle than we are normally used to, so we should not get overconfident and think, oh yes, we are going to, you know, very easily achieve victory here, because of course, we have to remember that there are many, many casualties still yet to appear on the battlefield. And those guys could give us some pretty big problems, so we do need to be on the ball. We need to make sure that we don't take too much damage ourselves. Bear in mind that I am now within the enemy's respawn zone, which obviously is pretty awful for my own forces. You can see here that we're taking many more casualties than we otherwise were beforehand, and that is of course because the new units are spawning in and completely murdering our forces. But thankfully, because we have such a power disparity between us, we are now starting to gain the numbers advantage, and that is all we really need to do. But no doubt, we will be receiving quite a few casualties as a result of this particular battle, but that shouldn't really cause us to have too many difficulties in continuing on. As far as I'm aware, I haven't really lost any in my own army, because as long as I don't lose any... we've lost 23. We've lost 23. We haven't lost too many, but that is... well, it's okay. It's okay. With our current medicine skill, that is the kind of thing that I can somewhat assume we are going to see. Those kinds of casualty rates. Because later down the line, when I have more medicine skill, oh yeah, you can best bet we're going to reduce that casualty rate down to about 10 deaths. Maybe even less than that. But yeah, usually it is a bit tough in the early stages. Alright, so now we're just going to take a quick look here. Okay, so we are going to let her go. We just want to make sure that these guys and girls can all be, well, potentially persuaded in the future. And you can see here that this guy is actually a part of a tier 3 clan. I don't even know whether it's even worth really getting this guy to join, but, well, you know, more the merrier, I suppose. More the merrier. This guy I don't really care about because he is a minor faction, but we're just going to do it nevertheless. Same thing here. There we go. And where is she from? Okay, so she's from this tier 3 clan as well. Okay, yeah, we'll just let her go too. Alright, so we have now leveled up a whole bunch of units too, and wow, so many prisoners. That is actually fantastic. Really, really nice. Lots of prisoners right there. And I don't think I really need to take anything. I'm seeing a lot of stuff right here, but nothing that is super good for me to actually equip. A lot of good loot, though. A lot of good loot for me to be able to sell. And you can see here that my garrison was not even reduced in any way, so I'm very happy about that. I'm just going to take a look and see what my leadership skill is. It's 87 at the moment. Okay. I would actually like to have a little bit more than that, if at all possible. So I'm wondering whether we should just keep the army intact for the moment, and then maybe see what we can do. Oh, hello there. Increase relationship by 1 with a random notable over age 50 while in a town. Or... oh, it's exactly the same. I see. Well, resting in settlements increase heal rate by 20%, or high morale increases the healing rate by 15%. I'm thinking high morale is best, because we're usually with a pretty decent amount of morale at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so one thing I want to do is I want to make sure that we don't have too many sheep or cows on me, because we are otherwise going to suffer the herd bonus. Let's see if there's anything else here that we need to worry about. Nope, herd bonus is not affecting us at the moment, and there's another 30,000 for us right there. And yeah, so my garrison has 176 at the moment. How is our town actually doing? It seems like it's absolutely fine. You can see here we are now receiving 1 loyalty per day, which is really nice. Now bear in mind that if I were to wait here for some time, which I'm just going to show you, so bear in mind, remember how much loyalty we had. We had 69, right? So how much do you think I'm going to have? For those of you that already know, I think you already know what I'm going to show here. You know, you're probably going to be able to guess how much loyalty I'm going to have. But for those of you that don't know, I'm just demonstrating one of the most powerful perks in the game. At least I think it's a really, really good perk. But maybe you don't. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see how much it's going to be. It's going to be really, really fun to find out. Because this is also the reason why generally I'm not really wanting to find a companion just specifically to take over my fiefs, because on the one hand, I think that's a really good idea and a really good way to go about things, but on the other hand, it kind of makes me think, well, I could be putting that companion to work doing something else. You know, for example, I could be finding a really good one for joining my party. I could use it to level up my trade skill a little bit more. As you can see, Cole the Ragged is doing a reasonable job in getting his own trade skill leveled up, and a little bit of his scouting too. And you can see here, I almost have 300 in trade, which is great. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, especially considering most of the time now, companions will not be dying. That's the point. They will not be dying at all, because obviously death is disabled at the moment. So we have now reached 300 trade. Yeah, we've now reached 300 trade. So this is going to be super fun. Working with everything has a price, or at least to have the option to work with it, because obviously beforehand we had no options whatsoever in that regard, and it's just going to give us so many more flexibility options whenever we're doing a barter with a vassal. And I'm just waiting one more day, or at least one more tick of leadership. There we are. Leadership is now 100. And loyalty is now at 79, as you can see right there. It's now at 79, up from 69. And that is purely for the parade. The parade perk bonus, that is it. That is the only thing that is helping us there. It really makes a huge difference. It really does. Even if you're just going to wait there for a little bit of time, it really doesn't matter how long. We're going to disband the army now. They can all go off and do whatever they want to do. And we're going to take a look at our perks, because obviously we now have everything has a price available. There we go. You can now trade settlements when doing barter. And we also have leadership at 102, so increase renown gain from battles by 50%. In my opinion, this is also one of the most powerful perks that you can get, especially early on in the game. So for example, if you were to become a vassal and then you get one of your clan members to join your army, you can get them to join for free. So you don't have to pay any influence to them, you don't have to do anything like that, but you do have to make sure that they have enough troops. Because if you don't have enough troops to give to them, then they will be unable to join your army because they need a minimum of 40% of their total army size. So that's something to bear in mind. But yes, generally this is just so much better than the other option in this particular stage of leadership, so we're going to be taking that. Alright, so let me see. Oleg does not want to join us, right? But what about this guy? Does he want to join us? I'm going to send a messenger to him right now, and we're going to see. Bear in mind, this guy is a pretty bad guy. I think he's going to probably, shall we say... Oh, never mind. Huh. Okay, we have plus 25 with him, so he must have a really good relation with Ragnvad. I'm surprised about that, actually. I gotta say, I am very surprised about that. I would not have expected Ragnvad to have such a good relation with a vassal from a tier 3 clan. That is very surprising. Okay, well, it seems like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer then, but whenever we do have the opportunity to get into these kinds of situations where we can actually speak to someone in a barter screen, we're also going to have the opportunity to trade fiefs with them. So, you know, keeping a hold of a couple of castles might actually give me a bit of an advantage in that case. So we should probably start doing that a little bit as well, just to prematurely prepare for any eventualities. So if there is a particular person that has a fief that we desperately want, then we can just trade him 5 castles for it, you know. You know, if it's a town, that is, because obviously I'm not going to trade, you know, castle for castle or anything like that. But anyway, I'm probably going to spend a little bit of extra time just running around Vlandia territory, trying to recruit as many units as possible. And then after that, we're going to go on the warpath towards the Western Empire, and maybe even towards the Sturgians, because as it stands right now, the Sturgians are very close to Swenrin Castle, and they are very close to Sionan. So it might be more natural to assume that I should probably attack the Sturgians, but it very much depends on where the Vlandians' armies are, and you can see here that Vartar's army is all the way down in the south. Derthart's army is being lazy, and is literally just running around Vlandia territory. I don't know what he's doing over there. But anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.